All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else, and I am bringing you my magicka nightblade PvP build for the Dragonhold DLC. Now, I have a lot to talk about with this video. I will want to give you guys a little bit of a timeline. I'm going to go through the build. I'm going to go through options and alternatives. I'm going to go through skills that I'm running, all those sorts of things. I'm going to go through CP. And at the end, I'm going to do a mini little blurb on my thoughts on Magblade, where it's at, why there are issues. And I'm actually going to make another video on magicka nightblade in general and where I think they need to get to be, because it's a very underperforming class right now. I could discuss this a lot, but I will save it for those of you guys that just want to see the build. Like, you guys want to see the build? Let's see the build. So, first thing, guys, we are running Potentates on the back bar. We're running just the Resto staff defending. I've talked about this before. Potentates is amazing. 5% damage, reduce your damage taken from players by 5%. This is very valuable. On any build that's running a 5-piece body set with a front bar 5-piece, being able to back bar Potentates gives you that 5% damage mitigation, which then makes you a little bit more tanky. 660 resistances is 1% damage mitigation. And so this is over 3,000, so it's like 300-ish. Keep in mind also, guys, this is not resistances. So this will still come into play if you get onslaughted. And so we already have other ways to get damage mitigation. This just makes this set even more valuable because Onslaught is a very powerful ultimate. This gives us a little bit more tankiness even when we do get hit with Onslaught. And so I'm running a weapon and spell damage enchant. Highly, highly recommend going out and getting this set. Front bar, we're running spinners. We're running 3 jewelry, all recovery, all arcane, and then we're running the Inferno staff sharpened. I don't need to go into spinners too much. You guys already know this. It's one of the best damage sets in the game. And so we're going to run this on the front bar, and we're going to run Potentates on the back bar. As far as consumables go, guys, I'm running the Witch Sugar Skulls. This is the new tri-stat food. It gives us really good max stats, and it gives us health recovery. And so health recovery means we're a little bit more tanky because we have a little bit more, because our health is coming back faster, it's going to take a little bit more damage to kill us. So Bewitched Sugar Skulls is great for that reason. As far as potions go, I'm running these Essence of Detect pots, Stealth Detection, Major Sorcery, and Magicka. If I get hit by a lot of people, guys, I switch to Immovables or Tripods. So up to you on how you want to do it. Sometimes, because I'm not a high elf, I actually switch to Breton. I found that with the new Tri-Stat food, it's really nice to be a Breton. That 7% reduced cost comes in handy. If you want to stay high elf and dark elf, you're going to have to add probably a little bit more recovery. It will work. It'll work just fine on other races, but that's why I chose Breton for that reason. Tri-Stat food is just really nice. As far as monster set goes, you can do 2 things. I am currently wearing Troll King. I tried this both with Troll King and without. I think Troll King's great, and I think Bloodspawn is great. Bloodspawn is obviously a great universal monster set. Makes us a little bit more tanky. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, guys, it comes down to, if you're a vampire, I think Bloodspawn's better. The ulti-gen plus the stam recovery, which is nice for mag tunes always, and the resistances really come in handy outnumbered. If you're not a vampire, Troll King is an interesting option. So when you heal yourself or an ally, if they're still below 50% health, their health recovery is increased by 1494 for 10 seconds. So we have good health recovery because we're using Sugar Skulls, and then we can stack it with this. Magicka Nightblades don't have a good burst heal. They don't have a Breath of Life. They don't have a Coag. They don't have these sorts of things that other Magicka classes do in their class toolkit. But they do have HOTS. And so I built this build around rotating a few HOTS. And so if we get CC'd, if we get dropped to lower health, our HOTS will proc Troll King, and then it'll heal us back to full. It also is a nice bonus that if you're ever running with other people and you use HOTS on them, it can proc Troll King on them, making them tankier and harder to kill. This is one of the best monster sets in the game. So if you want to wear Bloodspawn and you want to be a vamp, it works. If you want to wear Troll King, it works. 5-piece Necro. What's a magicka nightblade without Necro? You could try other things. You could try getting fancy. Necro is just nice. I am using a ward with this build. Having higher max magicka means my sustain's better because I have a bigger pool. It also means that my wards are a little bit bigger because I'm wearing Necro. And so running 2 damage sets with a defensive back bar, and then Troll King or Bloodspawn. As far as my character sheet goes, guys, this is without Necro, so I'm at 45,101. 1692 magicka recovery, 19,000 health, 17,000 stamina. Spell damage is low. We're running a max magicka and pen build, and so most of our damage is coming from our max magicka and our pen. Those of you guys that have run Necro and Spinners know how hard this hits. Resistances are low. I know people are going to look at it and you're going to be like, well, you can't survive with that. You absolutely can. I have clips to show you. Mage Mundus, Bewitched Sugar Skulls, yeah. So with this build, guys, we have Potentates, which is 5%. We have Shadow Image, which is 15%. That's our minor maim. We have Dark Cloak, which is 8%. And then our Spectral Bow gives us another 10% damage mitigation. So we have all these different ways to have damage mitigation on this build that aren't impacted by Onslaught. And so if we get Onslaughted, we still have all these different ways to mitigate damage. Onslaught doesn't impact us in the same way it impacts other people. And so because most of our resistances are just coming from flat damage mitigation that aren't impacted by Onslaught. So this doesn't look like a very tanky build. I totally get it. You have high survivability. I will show you. Fully buffed, as you guys can see, we have 49.9 magicka. Put my shadow image down once again. I'll pop my pot. If I light attack here. We're sitting at 2168 spell damage, 49,944 magicka, 1900-ish magicka recovery. With continuous, we jump over 2,000, plus we're a Breton. It's really nice. Good damage. As far as our skills go, Soul Harvest, Swallow Soul, Mass Hysteria. Not changing the wheel here at all, guys. Dark Cloak, this is our heal over time. Minor Protection, very nice. Merciless Resolve, bread and butter, high damage ability. It hits hard. You can see 20,000 tooltip. Very, very nice. Ellie Drain. You can go back and forth. I have gone back and forth between the two of these. I either run Ellie Drain or Debilitate. Ellie Drain gives us Major Breach. It also gives us the Minor Magicka Steal. Debilitate also gives us Minor Magicka Steal, but it's a dot. And so Debilitate costs Magicka. It does a dot, and it gives us the same Magicka Steal that Ellie Drain does. So it's nice for that reason. So it's going to come down to, do you want more pressure via dots, or do you want more pressure via burst? And so your Swallow Soul, your Soul Harvest, and your Spectral Bow will all hit harder with Ellie Drain. You'll just have more sustained pressure with another damage over time effect with Debilitate. I've gone back and forth between the two. I'm not sure which one I like more. They're both good for different reasons. So play with both of them, kind of figure out what you like more. Back bar, we're in a Rapid Regeneration. Healing Ward, honestly, kind of sucks, guys. It's not very good. Rapid Regeneration is fantastic. This is a very nice heal. So we took off Healing Ward, we put Rapid Regen on. I'm running Structured Entropy. I honestly thought this skill was garbage. It's very nice, actually, on a Magic Nightblade, because it does a little bit of damage, it adds a little bit of pressure, and it gives us a hot. And so we're running a hot with Dark Cloak, we're running another hot with Rapid Regen, and now we have another hot with Structured Entropy. And so it having that, I know this doesn't do a shit ton of damage, it's not going to wow you by how much dot damage it's doing, but the fact that it lasts for 10 seconds means that potentially, if you get hit by a snipe and you have this up, and that snipe stuns you and you can't break it right away, it could proc Troll King and it'll heal you back. It'll give you that health recovery you need to recover. And so 10 seconds of a small hot is actually very valuable, especially with Troll King. Don't underestimate the small amounts of healing you get with all these things. Dampen Magic. You can run Harness or Dampen. I've been playing with Dampen. I like it. Essentially, we don't have a burst heal. So we're rotating 3 hots, and we are going to get our hots up, and then we are going to apply our Harness Magicka, and that's going to kind of protect our health bar while the hots heal us back to full. And so, still a valuable skill. It's not nearly as strong as it used to be, and for good reason, in my opinion. Dampen Magic and Harness Magicka were very powerful in Elsewhere. Broken. Harness Magicka was broken as fuck. It needed to be changed. You could say it's arguably, too weak, I suppose. I honestly think it's fine. With this much max magic, I actually have a pretty bulky shield. The shield is fine. It's just I'm lacking a burst heal. And so that's the problem I'm having. I have no problem with Dampen Magic the way it currently is. Shadow Image. This is going to be our bounce around kite thing. And so you see, guys, if you don't want to run Structured Entropy, you can run Race Against Time. You can run the other snare removal in the class, the Morpha Blur. I can't remember which one it is, but it gives you snare removal. And so if you're not good with Shadow Image, you can absolutely do that. What I always try to do, guys, we want to keep our shadow image now to down to proc our necropotence, and then I move away from it and I fight over here. And as soon as I have somebody come in like a frost warden to snare me, I shadow image back out, I put a shadow image back down, and then I fight over here. And then they've hit me with frost damage, they snare me in place, I bounce back, I set down another one, and then I move around, and I just use it to kite. And as long as I have a shadow image up, I can kind of protect myself from getting snared in place. I can stay there in that moment and wait for the shadow or the snares to go away. I drop another one, and then I go back to fighting, and I just continue to move around. And so they fight me here, I shadow image back, I drop another one. They're still over there. Now I fight them over here. Now they attack me, I drop back. And so as long as you can maneuver and you can kind of kite, shadow image is very powerful for that reason, and it can protect you. And so with 3 hots plus dampen magicka and the ability to use shadow image well, we actually have very nice survivability. Siphoning attacks, this gives us another small heal as well on our light attacks. It also increases our sustain, which makes it very nice. And then I'm running either Soul Tether or Resto ult. It's up to you on which one you want to do. Sometimes when I'm getting jumped on, I like popping the tether, and so it stuns everybody in place. It heals me up to full, and I can potentially go offensive on somebody a little bit squishier and take them out. If you want to run Resto ult because you don't like you're bouncing around, like let's say you're using shadow image well and you get bursted over here and you can't get back because your shadow image went away, well, maybe Resto ult's a little bit better. I don't know. It's going to come down to you and your preferences. As far as CP goes, guys, this isn't perfect. 61 Warlord, 1 Siphoner, 1 Sprinter, 37 Tenacity, 75 Arcanist, 2 Mooncalf, 37 into Healthy. Now, since I'm a non-vamp, I'm stacking into Health Recovery a little bit so I can have a little bit better heals. If you're a vamp, take those out, put those into Tenacity or something else. 56 Tumbling, 19 Bless, 61 Elfborn, 64 LE Expert, 54 Spell Erosion, 72 Mastered Arms. We have a lot of direct damage abilities. We want to stack it as much as possible. 72 Ironclad, 59 Resistant, 49 Hardy, 32 LE Defender, 13 Thick Skin, 45 into Bastion. Now, I don't know exactly what our CP needs to be with Bastion because currently it's bugged. Bastion is not working properly on our tooltips. It is working. Our damage shield is the proper amount. It is not showing what our damage shield should be. And so, you see, I put my shadow image down, which gives us more max magicka. My dampen magic should go up because 11,000 is not, 60% of my health bar. So I should have more. I don't know exactly what I need there, so I just threw some in there. If you're on PC, you might know it might work on there, but it doesn't work currently on Xbox. Fun little bug that we have. But yeah, that's the build, guys. So I'm gonna get a lot of questions about this. I'm gonna get the conversation that says that I'm too squishy. People are gonna say, hey, why aren't you running Buffer of the Swift? Why aren't you wearing Armor Master? Why aren't you wearing some other tanky set that mitigates damage? And at the end of the day, guys, you just kind of can't on a Magblade if you want to kill somebody. And so you see what I'm running. You see I'm wearing Necro. You see I have Spinners. I have the Mage Mundus. I have 50,000 max magic. I have 2,100 spell damage. On just about any other build, that would crack people. If you think about throwing, as an example, a lot of people play Magplar. I'm going to bring it up, hypothetically. If I threw Crafty Alfiq and Spinners on a Magplar, I'd be squishy, but I would shit on people. I would absolutely shit on people with that kind of damage. If I threw Alfiq or Necro and Spinners on a Petsork, I would shit on people because of the amount of damage that I have. Magic and Nightblade's not the same way. Because of the cast time on ultimates, it makes it a little bit hard to hit burst. I have found sometimes, guys, that even when I have somebody at half health and I fear them, I go to hit my Soul Harvest, they can CC break sometimes and dodge roll before my Soul Harvest lands. And so I know it doesn't seem like it's a long cast time, but it really is. And so it makes Magic and Nightblade in itself quite a bit weaker. And now we've talked in the past about cast times and about why they're needed, why you need that defensive thing, and why animation canceling via ultimates, giving people counterplay to be able to defend themselves, that makes sense. It currently severely impacts the Magblade's ability to kill somebody. And so at the end of the day, what you want to try and do is you want to, light attack, swallow soul until you proc your Spectral Bow, and then you're going to fear, and then you're going to hit with your Soul Harvest, and then you're going to Spectral Bow. Well, it takes so long. And so if they CC break it, they're typically able to defend the second half of your ability. And so you just don't have that kind of burst. With the healing meta the way it is, dots aren't nearly as effective to deal with the healing. And so I've talked about this on previous videos. I've talked about, like this is a burst patch. I wouldn't really run too many dots unless unless they're providing a buff. Like poison injection buffs with Master's Bow. Noxious Breath gives you major fracture. Those sorts of things. Dots aren't super optimal. Like this dot probably hits 500 to 1500 in PvP. 1500 if I'm really lucky. And so I have to run 2 of them in order to get it to work. I have found Magicka Nightblade to be very underwhelming offensively, even running 2 damage sets. There's a lot of people in PvP that I just can't kill, even with this build. And it's kind of surprising because when I was running Necro and Alfiq and elsewhere, I was destroying people. I was hitting very hard. This is less damage than that, but it's not so much less damage. I think people are just naturally more tanky after Scalebreaker. And so that really, and plus with the cast times, it makes burst less reliable. It just makes playing Magblade a lot rougher to deal with. And so if you want to run, my point is if you want to run Jerkin, or if you want to wear Swift, if you want to wear something tankier to have that damage mitigation, there's going to be less people that you can kill. And so that's why I went with Necro and Spinners, because I wanted as much damage as possible into this build. The other thing that this is really lacking, guys, is we don't have the oh shit button. If we get hit really hard from stealth via snipe, we have to roll our hots. So we have to hit our rapid regen, we have to hit our dark cloak, and then we have to rotate our dampen while that's coming back up. Now, more often than not, we'll be okay in that department. We'll be able to rotate hots, we'll be able to survive. But sometimes when you're really getting focused, we don't have that oh shit button. That oh shit button that Pet Sorks have, that oh shit button that Magplars, Mag DKs, Mag Crows, even Warden's Heal isn't nearly as good. They have a few more hots, but they do have access to a burst heal. Magblade doesn't. And so I've gotten the comment that, maybe I run Blessing and Protection because it's a pretty good heal. Mine doesn't scale that high. And so I don't think this is worth really running, especially considering the cost. I'd rather just run the multiple hots. This is a little bit cheaper. And Dark Cloak gives us so much. Like, Dark Cloak's expensive, but it gives us so much. And so it just makes sense, in my opinion. So that's why I went the route that I went. I could obviously build like a tanky build with Armor Master or something like that and be unkillable. And I would essentially run across people that just don't do a ton of damage, and I'd hope to kill them, but then I wouldn't be doing enough damage as well. And so I will discuss changes that I think that Magblade needs, but dots are kind of underperforming, and Magblade burst just isn't reliable. It's not the same type of burst that a Magplar has. It's not the same type of burst that a Magsork has. Hell, like even a Magcrow, and I'm not saying in solo play. Like Magcrow has its own issues, but like in a small group situation, I would much rather have a Magcrow with me than like a stand-up Magicka Nightblade. Like Magicka Nightblade in group play is essentially a bomber. And so it sucks to say that. It's a fun class. It's a really fun playstyle. I really enjoy playing it. I build myself for high survivability, but it's just tough when you're fighting outnumbered to really be as effective on this class as other classes. Now, that's not to say that you can't get X's off with it. That's not to say you can't fight outnumbered. That's not to say that you can't be hard to kill and play this well, because you absolutely can, guys. Like I've gotten some pretty good little fights with it on outnumbered clips that I will show you. It's just lacking in some ways. And so what Magblade is missing, all other classes have, and I understand where it's coming from. Like people look at it and they're like, oh, the question that people have is like, well, why aren't you using shadowy disguise? You could cloak around and you could, survive that way. And it's true, I could. But Dark Cloak is also supposed to be an option. It's supposed to be a heal. And it's supposed to be a healing option. And so not everybody wants to play a stealthy Magblade. They want to play more of a stand-up play style. And so Dark Cloak is supposed to kind of supplement that a little bit, but still, you're still having the issue where you don't have a burst heal the way other classes do. And so with that issue, you have to build a few different ways. And this is the way I've found to do stand-up pretty well. 3 hots plus a shield. It also gives me enough damage. I have gotten some decent Spectral bows on very squishy people. I've hit as high as 19k on my Spectral bow, but typically my Spectral bow is hitting anywhere from like 5 to 12, And so you really need that damage to be cracking in order to take people out. And there's just a lot of Magplars. There's a lot of very tanky individuals, and it makes the class frustrating to play sometimes. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, I will post another video going over Magblade changes and what I would like to see change for this class to make it a little bit better from a stand-up perspective, so it's a little bit more competitive. Out of all the classes that I have played and all the classes I've talked to my buddies on, I do think stand-up Magblade is one of the weaker classes in PvP. I think it's them or Magcrow. I think Magblade and Magcrow are in a pretty bad spot. Obviously, I'm not trying to take it away from Magcrow. Magcrow's burst is unreliable as well. However, if I was playing with somebody and they said, hey, I can hop on my Magcrow or my Magblade, which one do you want? I'd take the Magcrow 9 times out of 10 in a duo situation. Harmony bombing plus the vulnerability ult is way better in a duo than having a magicka nightblade with unreliable burst. And so I want to give a shout out to a few of my buddies. My buddy INX for helping me, test some things out and find something that gives me survivability. This is not what he's running, but he gave me some thoughts there. And my buddies Blappin and Smithereen for dealing with my bullshit of me playing Magblade for the last 4 or 5 days and it just being a huge pain in the ass. So we have gotten some decent clips. It's been fun to play and try, and it's rewarding when you do get the kills, but I just know you're kind of playing a little bit more of a gimped class right now. So if you guys disagree with me, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Obviously I'm not the best Magblade in the world. I'm never going to claim to be the best at anything, but I feel like I play a pretty decent Magblade, and you guys can see it for yourself and judge it for that, and you can just kind of see what it does. So that's going to be the end of the build part. Let's dive into the clip. All right, so this first fight, we're fighting out in Farigol, and Reds started to siege the keep. Decided to come down here and see if I could find a fight versus red or yellow. We see a low-level guy over here. I have a Spectral bow, 19k spec bow. Light attack, swallow soul. We get a quick kill just against the low level. I see a bunch of people setting up siege. I don't want to get too close. We already talked about my build before. I'm not running any snare removal. You see the Fighters Guild crossbow come in. This guy's going to try and pull me into the group. Standard XV1 tactic to pull people into a pile and let the overwhelming numbers take you out. So I'm going to try and prevent that from happening. You see I have a few snipes coming in. See I have the shadow image right there. So if I get pulled into some place that's uncomfortable, I'll just shadow image back away. See my shadow image goes down. I'm trying to take out this guy on the siege because he just doesn't want to get off the siege. So see a couple people come in. So I'm going to drop my shadow image right here. Decided to go up here, see what's going on really quickly. Keep my heels up, pop the tech pot. We see one guy up here just kind of waiting. Like I said, I heard the snipes, so we're just going to come over here. He's trying to cloak away. We hit him with a quick spec bow. He dodge rolls. I get pulled in. I don't get the kill because he runs back to the group. And so once again, we're just going to keep our dots up, put our LA drain on. See, we got a couple snipers, a couple people coming in with some heavy attacks. So we're going to drop our shadow image right here. Go back to the safety of this. And at this point, I'm just trying to pull a manageable group into that room. I don't want to get too far out here. Snipe is really bad right now as far as desyncs go, and so I want to just try to, pepper enough people or annoy them to where they come after me in a large amount. This guy pulls me in, I take a Dawnbreaker, pop a couple hots, and Troll King keeps me healed back to full. So I drop another shadow image, come to heal back up. I thought they were going to come in, that's why I was backing up slowly like that. They decided to back away. You see the blood altar that they put down. So I'm just going to line up my LA drain. See, we got the sniper right here, so I'm going to get a quick heavy attack off. Just trying to, like I said, once again, focus some people. We get hit with the new bound armaments. It doesn't do a ton of damage. I think that guy's more of a tanky individual, so we're going to hit this guy with LE Drain. We get hit with snipes just as we're going in. We take a bunch of damage. You see our Troll King heals us up. We manage to recover quite quickly. We have a guy coming in with shield charge. We have another tanky individual right here, so I hit him with a an in cap. I decided to rebuff up. I'm still taking snipes. This guy pulls me back in, so I decided to back up once again. Don't want to take a bunch of burst damage, like I said, so we're just going to keep dropping our shadow image, keep peppering them. Hopefully at some point we're going to annoy people enough to fully chase us down. This guy stopped moving, so we're going to get a quick kill here against a sniper. And so now we got a few people sieging. You see the guy pulls me in, and so I got to back up once again. I didn't have a shadow image set up, so I had to use my stamina. Had to drain my stamina in order to do that, so I'm not going to be able to keep the bodies down over there. You see we got a frost ult come in, and so we're just going to light attack, swallow soul, light attack, swallow soul. And we're going to get a fear off, soul harvest, spectral bow. We get another quick kill, and so now we just have the two tankier individuals right here. So we're just going to try and fight them out. Not really getting hit with snipes anymore because we killed the guy with snipe, and so we're just trying to figure out who can take some damage. Looks like this guy is taking a little bit of damage, so I go with the soul harvest, go with a couple swallow souls. It's not doing a ton. Decide to switch targets to see if I can focus this guy. And like I said, there's just some people you cannot kill right now, and so we're just going to dot him up. Going to hit him with the LE drain. Trying to focus this guy. Fear this guy off me. Now you see we got another stamp sword coming in with the crit rush. I take a really nasty stun there, so I decided to back up, see if I can pull a few people into this room over here. Drop my shadow image. Nobody ends up following me once again, and that's the end of the fight. But you see, like in fights like that, you really just want to have yourself an out. This next fight, fighting outside of Farragle, and I managed to get a little 1v1 against this Magplar. We're going to hit him with a quick soul harvest and a spectral bow that both crit, and then our swallow soul as he toppling charges into us crits, so we end up taking him out. Yeah, so we managed to get the burst there. Just kind of wanted to highlight, how you rotate your hots. You want to keep your hots up, you want to keep your shields up, and hopefully line up burst. As we're, kind of waiting, we see this guy, and this guy is typically running around in very large groups, and so when we saw him and we saw his little bomber buddy here, we decided to try and focus them right away before they showed up in massive numbers. So I took out the bomber because he was doing damage. This guy's running Thurvokin with Defile. He's more of a support build. You see I hit with Soul Trap. You see I've got hit with Spell Strat. So we got a few people in the area, and so we're just going to sit back and give ourselves an out. We want to play smart. You see I have this rock behind me that I can kite behind. You don't want to get caught too far out in the open. And so we're just going to dot people up. We get a quick kill on the low level right here. My buddy launches the Blast Bones, and now it looks like there's 3 Magplars left. There's probably a few other people in the area, but we got a 3-on-3. So we decided to back up a little bit. You see we got a guy right here. You see we got a few more coming in. You see the snipes coming in, so we decided to back up a little bit. And this guy comes in with the toppling charge. So my buddy knocks him off the flame clench. I hit him with a soul harvest to defile him. We kill him really quickly before he gets around that corner to the healing. And now, because we got one of the Magplars down, we're going to try and focus this guy. Now, this guy does have a lot more health, but he was taking a decent amount of damage. And with the power of the light on him, with a bunch of bursts, we thought we could finish him off. He didn't see break, but the Earth Gore goes off and the time stops, so we were unable to get the burst there, so we had to back up. Now we got a shield charge coming in. We got a few people peppering us in the back. My buddy takes some damage there, so I hit him with a rapid regen to re-heal him back to full. And now we're just trying to figure out somebody to focus. My buddy's got the Colossus ult. We get 2 quick kills. We almost have a third. And yeah, that's why the Colossus ult is so nice. You just get so much pressure there. You really force people to go on the defensive. Even though there's a bunch of healers, there's so much damage being taken by everybody that they can't really focus and keep one guy healed to full. So one person backs up. We killed the other one, and so now we just have a 3-on-1 left. Now, they can absolutely come back, and they probably will in numbers, and so we want to take this guy out as quickly as possible. He's running reactive. He's popping a healing ult. He's wearing Thurvokin, so we kind of want to try and stay out of the range of this. So I hit him with a Defile right here. We're just slowly bursting him, and now we're going to fear him right when he gets to about half health right here, so that he can't really recover. And he pops, and that's the end of the fight. Just a quick little outnumbered fight. This next fight, I'm fighting outside of Chalman. And I've been fighting out here for a while. There's a bunch of Reds in the area. Reds were bursting Chalman, so I decided to come over here and see if I could pick off a few stragglers. And just, see if I could find some fights. As you guys can see, there's a bunch of Reds here. And they're just kind of slowly moving in. You see if a couple of yellows come in. They're trying to do the same thing that I'm doing. Just find a few fights against the bigger group. We got a few blues over here as well. And so, see a guy way off into the distance, so we're going to hit him with our dots. We're going to hit him with a spec bow for about 11,000. Light attack, swallow soul. He dodge rolls. We're going to go with the fear. The dots end up taking him out. He dies. Now we get hit with a frost snare, and so this guy gets hit with a toxic barrage, a little bit tankier, so we're going to dot him up. We end up fearing him right here at about half health. Spectral bow, soul harvest, he dies. And now we just have the tanky warden. And so this guy's pretty tanky. He's running a bunch of frost abilities to snare us in place, which is not good for us. That's why we decided to focus him here. He's also taking a little bit of damage. I pop my pot, and I see this nightblade cloak by. And so I dot him up, and I'm slowly focusing him. I go to hit my soul harvest, and it misses. I hit him with the spec bow, but it wasn't enough for the finisher. He manages to get away. I don't have the movement speed to chase him down and finish that off, so I just changed targets, and I moved on to the next people. We got a tankier individual here with an actual tank right here. He's holding block. He's healing up, and so we're just going to, once again, just get our dots in. We see a Sork coming over here, and so I'm going to dot this guy up. He takes a CC. I go for the soul harvest. It misses, and I go for the spectral bow, and that misses as well. And you see then he does a good job of recovering and popping his Resto ult and getting away. And so I feel like maybe if my soul harvest lands there, I have a chance to get that finisher. I'm not chasing a Sork. Like I said, I don't have movement speed. I'm just kind of stuck where I'm at. I can bounce around via shadow image, but I'm not actually fast. So I'm trying to figure out somebody to focus here. That other Sork streaks away, so I decided to just ignore him, drop my shadow image. I see a couple people over here, so I'm just dotting them up. Got a few that snuck by me to fight the blues here. Got a few coming from the other direction, so I decided to refocus this DK right here. Go for the soul harvest and the spectral bow. Soul harvest hits, spectral bow misses. They get a revive, and so what we're going to do is we're just going to quick finish off this kill before they get any resources back. And now we're just trying to figure out which target we want to hit. This guy, makes himself known that he's going to come in on us, and so we're going to focus him first. He pulls us in with something. You see a bunch of stuff coming in, so we're just going to pop a couple restos. This guy is trying to run by, a little low level, so we hit him with a soul harvest. He dies, and now we have this guy just over pursued a little bit. The rest of the people didn't come in with him, so he's by himself. So we get another quick kill, and at this point, guys, we're just moving back over here. You see we have the Sork, so we're just trying to dot him up. You see I have a spectral bow. Go to hit him with the spec bow. He's streaking away. Like I said, once again, I can't really chase him. And so I decided to focus this guy. He's taking a little bit of damage. I go for the fear. A little low on resources, so I got to be careful here. They drop a permafrost. I get hit with a Dawnbreaker, so I pop my Resto ult just to stay alive. Now I'm getting hit with a bunch of damage. I got skulls coming in. I got a bunch of people coming in. So I just cycle my heals, cycle my buffs, drop my shadow image, get some distance away from it. You see they're starting to focus me here. I take a subterranean assault right there. You see they're taking some stuff. They stun me. Another sub, so I decided to shadow image back just to heal up, just to recover, change my line of sight. You see I have the other Sork coming in, so I decided to focus him. With the Resto ult up, he streaks through me, does a really good job of changing his line of sight, streaks back. And you see he's got his overload up, so we got to be careful for that. So I'm just dotting, keeping my heals up, and just trying to really go in on him. I have a spectral bow, but he manages to streak through me once again. We have this guy right here. So I'm just going to soul harvest him. I go for the spec bow. We get the kill there. Now we still have the spec bow, so we're just going to hit it on this guy. He dies before it lands. And we're just going to end the fight right there. This fight, once again, outside of Fergal. Me and a couple of buddies were fighting down here. I hadn't joined the group yet. They said there's a bunch of yellows. They killed a few, and we're just cleaning up a little bit right here. And so we're just going to keep our burst lined up. We hit him with a 9k soul harvest. Definitely not the norm right now, even with this build. But we get a nice little burst there. This guy dies. And at this point, we're just going to flip the flag, try and get the resource. I have a pot up. I wanted to make sure that there was no snipers in the area. Typically, when we're about ready to flip a flag and I have a detect pot, I like to kind of like run around on the perimeter. Oftentimes, I find that sometimes groups don't like to, they wait until a few people show up. So you think there's only like 4 or 5 people coming in, and then all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 people crouched, and now it's 10, and you get steamrolled. And so if I have a detect pot up like I did there, I go and investigate. I have a bunch of people coming up here. I take a bunch of damage here, so I'm going to cycle my heals, pop a Resto ult to keep my buddies up. And now we're just going to go into single target mode, because that's about all we can do. My buddy drops his vulnerability ult. Almost get a kill here. We get 1 kill, and so now we have a few more, but You know, they're Magplars, they have really powerful healing, so we're just going to hit a couple Resto ults for our buddies, or Rapid Regens, not Resto ults, my bad. We have this guy over here by himself, and so we're just going to come in on him. I go to hit him with a Soul Harvest. I get time stop, but he dies due to the power of the Light Burst. We have a couple more healers here. You see we have a healer there, we have a healer here. He's trying to heal through it, so we decided to file him with the power of the light on him. This guy's taking some damage. We got a shield charge coming in. And now you see we got a warden coming in from the background, so I'm just decided to, you know, rebuff up, keep my hots up, hit this guy with a Soul Harvest. He leaps to get some resources back, so we're just going to continue to dot him up, continue to focus him down. He's got a lot of health. And so we just want to make sure that we're cycling our buffs to make sure he goes down. At this point, he's at half health, so I go for Fear. He's almost dead. He's not really recovering. He gets bubbled with Soul Harvest. He's dead. This guy takes a bunch of damage from my buddy's Colossus ult. He drops over dead. And at this point, we're just going to come down here. We got this little low level. He takes a bunch of damage plus an Onslaught. He dies. And so, once again, we're just going to go back to our resource. Make sure we stay on the flag. Make sure we get our ads to spawn back up in case they come back in more numbers. At this point, accept the invite. It was 3 of us the entire time, just in case you guys are curious. Yeah, and so you see my buddy's taking some damage right there. Just kind of staying in the area, and this is the new old thing. But you see, I get hit with a bunch of snipes all at the same time. I don't see where the guy's coming from. I don't see where he's sniping from. But you know, snipe does that now, where you get hit by 3 or 4 snipes and you just die. So I see him up here, and you see my pot's almost off cooldown. So I'm just gonna wait up here to see if I can get him. Drop my shadow image in case he decides to come out of stealth from that area, and I can just shadow image back and take him out. At this point, all the people came back, so I'm going to hit with a couple rapid regens. My buddy's in the thick of it over here, so I'm going to pop a Resto ult to get him out. My buddy drops a vulnerability ult. Their Earth Gore goes off, so we don't get any kills there. So you see we have a few people. We have a sniper, so we really want to rotate our hots to make sure that other burst with the sniper burst doesn't coincide. This guy's taking a bunch of damage because he's a low level, so we get the quick kill there. This guy jumps in, and so I'm going to once again cycle a few hots on my buddies. Basically cycle this hot on myself. I pop another Resto ult because we have more people coming in, and started spamming time stop. We come to the tower here. We get a few people that come in hard. My buddy drops a vulnerability ult. We kill this guy quickly. This guy takes a bunch of damage from the vulnerability ult. We get that kill. We have 2 more come in. This guy comes in spinning. We're hitting with a Soul Harvest that actually hits him for 9k. He dies, so we get 3 quick kills. We have 1 more guy come in. At this point, they just didn't come in at the same time. You know, they were coming in smaller amounts of numbers and trying to focus us and take us out. And we managed to catch the first few really quickly. And we turned what could have been an outnumbered situation into a few fights where we actually outnumbered them a little bit. And that's kind of what you have to do. Like, if people make a mistake in those 1vx situations to where they don't come in as a team and a few kind of over pursue, you want to try and nuke those guys as quickly as possible, because if you can, you're going to lower the numbers. We have 3 reds show up. They must have saw the fight over here, so they decided to come over. A bunch of yellows in the area, 3 reds and 3 blues. We decided to focus the yellows, you know, unconsciously together. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Small scalers help out small scalers instead of letting the Zerg run over both people. You know, it doesn't matter what factions they are. That's just how small scalers function. But yeah, the end of the fight. This one, I just put on my dots, guys. Like, I just decided to put on Debilitate. I decided to put on Structured Entropy. And the reason I wanted to show this, I wanted to show you how to survive with Shadow Image. And I wanted to showcase this little part right here. So, I was trying to kill this person earlier, and I really wasn't doing any damage. You see I go for the Soul Harvest. You see I Fear. They have Earth Gore, and they have Reactive. And they're very, very tanky. But they're not purging my dots. And so you're going to see here, they actually take a ton of dot damage. And so, although they're a healer and they have a bunch of mag regen and they do have Earth Core, you see just the dots are ticking. And that's why I keep 1 or 2 dots on my bar now, because it's just that little bit of extra pressure. Like, even against, you know, a healer right here that, you know, has good heals, that has a lot of mag regen, I was doing a lot of pressure. And now all of a sudden I see the Emperor show up, and so I decided to change my target here. I got a bunch of ads on me. And he's going to summon a Blast Bones and a Vulnerability ult. He tried to fear me in it, so I managed to get out of it right away. Paparesta ult. And at this point, I got a few people jumping on me, and I get feared once again, so I have to dodge roll out of it. So I'm going to drop my shadow image here, try and get around this corner. As soon as they pile on me, shadow image back, kite around this corner. I didn't go down the tunnel because there's a few people there, so I decided to try to make it to this tree. And you see at this point there's a bunch of people on me. And so I'm just going to keep rotating hots, keep my shield up. You see they got Talons dropped on me. They're just really trying to focus me down. You see I get time stopped. As soon as that time stop landed, I pop my Resto Walt. And so I drop a shadow image right there. I pretend to run to the tower. Shadow image back. And at this point, I'm going to try and make it to this house. So I drop another shadow image right here. So in case I need to escape, there's a little barn right here. I'm going to look behind me. I see 3 people coming. I'm going to see if I can fight them right here. And so we got a Necro coming in. I was going to fight them, but you see the vulnerability ult. I'm not sure what kind of hots I have to deal with a vulnerability ult at a corner against 2 other people. So I just shadow imaged out and managed to break line of sight. And now I broke up the group into 5 people and 3 people. So I decided to go into this tower. Once again, I'm not killing anybody here, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys like how you can survive, your survivability with this specific build, because I know I'm going to get questions about it, you know, like how tanky are you actually on this build because your resistances aren't super high. Turns out it's not bad. As long as you're rotating hots, you're actually doing pretty good. This last fight was just a fun fight in Latvilon, you know, a bunch of small-scale PvPers. Me and my buddy, you know, this is one of the first days of the build, me trying it out, and, you know, going through some growing pains. And so we get a couple fights here, and at this point there's a bunch of yellows in the area. People are kind of being cool because, you know, it's small scale PvP. We see a red over there fighting, and so we decided to focus the yellows. This guy is decides to run off by himself, so we decided to focus him. He comes back. You see I get hit with a sub, and so at this point we got 3 people on us. I drop a shadow image. I get hit with a really nice sub. They're going for the D-swing. My buddy's getting focused here, and so what I want to do is I want to fear him off him. I go for the soul harvest there. It doesn't work. I end up having to dodge roll out because they hit with a vulnerability ult. We end up getting the kill anyways because I think my buddy leapt on him. Go back and look at that in a little bit. But I'm going to keep my rapid regens up, keep my harness up, really try and prevent them from taking me out. I don't get CC'd there, so I'm just going to keep my hots. I'm just trying to figure out who we're going to focus. Like a bunch of stuff's going on. I take a bunch of damage. So I decided to kite back here a little bit, keep my harness up, keep my hots up. So at this point we decided to try and take out this person because it's the Necro. They're going to have the most burst potential. No offense to anybody else, but Necro burst, especially Mag Necro burst with Harmony builds, can be nasty. And so we'll really want to try and take them out. I see this person take a bunch of damage, so I change my target to them. So I just once again cycle through my buffs, my siphoning attack, get leapt on once again, and my buddy's taking a bunch of damage here. And so I'm just hitting him with a few heals here, rapid regen, just trying to kind of body block for him a little bit, drop my shadow image. Gonna get 1 full heavy resto to get some resources back since I'm not getting focused here. And we're just trying to figure out who we're gonna attack. We have a bomber come in. He tries to bomb. It doesn't work out too well. We shadow image back when we start to take damage. We have another person that showed up, so we got the 2 of us versus the 4 of them and some random bomber in the background. We got a couple dots on this person, so I go for the full heavy since once again they're not focusing me. I pop a Resto Ult for my buddy just so he can go full offensive without having to worry about taking damage. This guy takes a bunch of damage, so we decide to focus him from the leap at his whip plus a couple Swallow Souls. He dies, so we get 1 quick kill there. And now we're just going to rotate buffs. We're just going to try and keep people alive. My buddy fossilizes this guy. I hit him with a Soul Harvest. Try to get a kill there, but I end up taking some damage, so I had to back up and dodge roll. So I'm going to hit with my rapid regen. I get hit with an in-cap there. Really get focusing me now at this point. And honestly, that makes sense. I'm a Magblade. You know, I'm not a DK. I'm not able to block, so should have probably been focused a lot in this. So now they change their line of sight to focus this guy. Focus my buddy, sort of dot him up. We're going to hit him with a quick in-cap, a couple Swallow Souls. He dies. I end up getting feared here. Just enough stamina to break it, so I rotate my heals once again. We have a 2-on-2 with a bomber in the back. He's just light attacking at this point. And so this guy pops an Invis Pot, and he gets out of here. And we have the bomber with this Necro. So that's the end of this fight. This guy ends up tanking our damage for a little bit. Those people come back. A few more people show up. We end up surviving a little bit longer, but at that point, you know, I want to say it was like 6 people at the end that ended up killing us. You know, just a good fight. This guy does a really good job of, like I said, tanking our damage, holding out, playing defensive, cycling through his buffs. He did a really good job there. So that's the end of the fight. That's the end of the build. I know it's not super amazing, guys. Getting big X's on a Magblade is really going to come down to how squishy your individuals are that you're fighting, how many healers they have, and how skilled they are. And so, the class isn't as good as other classes, and so unless you're really, really top tier on the class, your X's just aren't going to be as good as other classes. It's still a fun class. It's still playable. It's still rewarding. I hope I showed that you do actually have quite a bit of survivability in this build. Try and get a few more clips for you guys later, but this is where I ended up on it. As much damage as possible with some sustain and some tankiness with the monster set and the Potentate. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.